Welcome to Reading the Green and our golf DFS show. My name is Mike. Thought it was going to be back with the guys, but instead, Kyle bailed on us like 2 hours ago. I'm not even going to say where he went, but he got a better offer.
He got a much better offer.
So I feel like it's been a few weeks because it was you and I, and then it was Kyle and I, and now it's you and I again. But that's okay because it just means we're gonna get.
We need to talk about Kyle's dedication to this endeavor.
Oh, he's dedicated. I know he's dedicated because he texted me on like Monday morning at 10 o'clock, and he was like, "Hey, the model's not set up yet. I gotta get some plays in and all this." And I'm like, "Dude, like, chill out a little bit. Like, we're not. It's Monday morning." But yeah, so I thought he was super pumped for this week, and apparently something better came up. So it's just gonna be Jordan and I for the Arnold Palmer preview. We'll cover the Honda recap, and then I think we got two good topics to get into before we get into the golf DFS stuff. So this is Tuesday, February 28th. So here we go. First thing, Jordan, I actually kind of want to hear about you. Just got back from Arizona. I know you played one round of golf. How's the game?
Well, it wasn't actually too bad. I've never liked pings. Like, never. And I see Mike's frozen now. I don't know if I'm frozen or he's frozen.
No, we're all good. We're all good.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay. But the rental set was, what was, you said it was like 3-year-old ping irons and a ping driver. And it was hard, right? Like
can you even pick from like the right, like reasonably the right shafts?
They had stiff shaft for me. Okay. So that was good, but like I play an extra stiff in my driver. So I hit the ball kind of all over the place, but then I also threw some freaking darts. I had two birdies. I think I ended up with like an 85 on a course that was a par. I don't know. My course handicap on it was a 2. So me shooting 15 over par, that it was a handicap helper round, that's for sure.
That's hard. I get it. Like, not want to truck your clubs all the way down. It's family vacation, little kids, all that. Like, bring in your clubs, but then you're gonna go out and play, and it just doesn't feel like it's worth it. But it's not doing anything for you.
Yeah, that was. I considered. Our first day got rained out that I was supposed to golf with my in-laws' other 75-year-old friend. And then the night before I was like, oh, should I cancel? Like, the weather's not going to be great, like blah, blah, blah. And we decided that it would probably break the old man's heart because he was really sad when we got rained out 2 days earlier. So I'm glad I went. I'll be, when we don't have to travel with a car seat anymore, then I can start to bring along a golf bag. But man, that shit is.
Have you tried this argument? Because we're going to Florida in a couple of weeks, and I got 3 kids. I got 3 kids under 5, and so you can imagine the schlepping that's going to have to happen. Although my in-laws have done some diligence, and they've gotten like rental pack and plays and cribs, or rent pack and plays and car seats they're borrowing. So hopefully that lightens the load. But if you're a certain credit card holder and status on Delta, you can go up to 70-pound bags. And so I'm telling my wife, well, I should bring my clubs, because then we have a 70-pound oversized bag we can fill up with kids stuff in addition to my golf clubs. So I was like, even if I'm just going to hit the range, 2-3 times during nap time, I feel like that's worth it. So that's the angle I'm playing right now. It's we'll see how it goes.
For sure. I will say, someone that was on our plane down there had the best hack I've ever seen. So, car seat bags go for free. I picked up a car seat bag that did not have a fucking car seat in it. So they just used the bag, because because the car seats are heavy. It looked like ours. I went to pick it up, and it like flew up in the air. It was so light because it just had some clothes in it and probably floaties and things like that. I was like, genius.
Well, they've actually, I'm actually kind of surprised, because I thought they cracked down on stuffing car seat bags with other stuff. And so
It really depends on who you get, because our car seat bag weighed 45 pounds because it was all of our sunblock, all of our like toiletries. Like if they would have told, we would have just paid, right? Like we couldn't have taken all the crap out. We had so much in there.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you made it there. You made it back. We'll be doing the same. It's not easy, but
yes,
we'll see.
I am
worth it, right?
Speaking of clubs, Mike, my new driver came in, and I'm going to the.
I didn't know you ordered one. What?
I ordered it. I had a good day buying and selling swag a couple weeks ago, so I put in the order
for a Stealth 2.
Yeah,
nice.
Stealth 2 Plus.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's in. I got the email from Jeff yesterday, maybe, and I'm going to the simulator tomorrow morning. Hopefully, it's still the
only order I've put in is 4 dozen logoed RTG balls.
Wait, did you do the TaylorMade ones or these?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know you could put logos on them also.
No, not logo. It just has has our Twitter handle. Nice. So, all right, we're gonna quickly hit 2 topics. First of all, so much made in the golf media this week so far on just the comparison between the Honda Classic and Live, because so much was made the week before about how the Live field, which the Live field is always going to beat whatever PGA Tour events it goes up against. So that doesn't do anything for me. But I'm curious, like, what was your takeaway on just where the Live product is likely to be this year?
I mean, it's crap as always. Like someone was like, "Oh, Charles Howell, cool. He hadn't been relevant in a PGA event in 7 years, and he runs away with one over here."
What does that say? What does that say for the rest of the field? Like that's
yes. No, it's interesting. Like a lot of the articles I've seen are just like, well, it doesn't feel like it matters, right? Like at least PGA Tour, it sucks that not all the best players play every week. But Live is the exact same, 12 teams, 48 people, whatever, however, 52 people, whatever they have. It's the exact same every week, same format, all teeing off, right? Like there's no variation in it. So does it matter? Or like who wins? Doesn't matter. They already got paid, right? Like this week, Chris Kirk and Eric Cole, right? Like that was like even coming in second place for Eric Cole is life-changing money, where I think it was like $870,000. And that almost guarantees his card for next year. Right? Like that stuff matters. Like I enjoyed watching the end of it, even though I couldn't tell you anything about Chris Kirk or Eric Cole. But I saw the 18th hole and the playoff, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I think what I took away was that I think I get the Live product now. Like, I think I get it. I get that it has a place in the golf ecosystem, and it's not a place that there's going to be a very big audience. We talked about their TV ratings. I mean, maybe that climbs up a little bit, but like, it just is going to be a party, and you're going to want to go see these exhibitionists do their thing, and it's just going to be cool to go see DJ mash a golf ball. But like, you're never going to see somebody doing what those guys did, Cole and Kirk, on the back nine. And granted, like, that was a lower PGA event. You're just not going to see that on that tour. And that is, I guess, fine. I don't know why we're trying to make it something that it's not. So for me, I was just kind of like, all right, I kind of get it. It's not the product that the PGA Tour puts out. And for what I want to watch, that's, I'll be watching PGA Tour. Like,
yeah.
So yeah. I'm kind of done like trying to rationalize it. Like, it just is what it is. It's like the XFL. It's like,
yeah. I saw some economics professor at University of Chicago maybe was talking about it and why it's like they had asked Greg Norman a few questions on some podcast.
Oh yeah, I saw this one. Yeah,
and all of his responses were like, "Oh well, the average age of a PGA Tour fan is 67." He just made it up. And the average age of a Live fan is 45. Made it up. But like, that doesn't matter, right? Like,
but this is what I was telling Kyle, was that what the PGA Tour needs to do is they need to make, and this is I taking this bit from Jeff Feinberg, but like need to make 32-year-old people want to act like 67-year-olds. Like that's what they that's what they need to do. Like that's their product, and that's okay. Like in fact is like when I've seen it with like so many of like, friends of mine that were not golfers. It's like they get to their 30s and they're just like, all right, I'm ready to be like old and watch golf on the weekends and go to the driving range. And that's what the PGA Tour is going to continue to support. Like golf doesn't need more like casual golf fans, I don't think. But
yeah.
Anyways.
Yep.
Speaking of if I could transition, speaking of casual golf fans or casual fantasy golf players, we teased last week and you weren't here. I talked about PGA Reignmakers. And if you're not familiar with Draftkings Reignmakers, now for PGA, if you're not familiar with this, Jordan and I are going to try to unpack it. I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. That's probably been too long. We're going to try to unpack it because this, as someone that really believes that sort of like this whole idea of collectible, whether it's a play to earn model like they're doing with DraftKings, or it's just sort of like collectible assets to drive loyalty, like someone that believes that we're really on the cusp of that being the new way to engage with brands. There's something here, but like trying to understand what DraftKings is doing is, I don't think I have the capacity to do this. Like I really want to do it, but I don't know I have the capacity.
Yeah, it's so confusing. Joining their Discord and like seeing what everyone's talking about. I'm like, what? Like, just put out cards and maybe have them be good for one season and then done. But they're like, there's 100 different variations. They want to sell more cards for specific tournaments and yeah.
So like, can I let me just wind this back really quick, because I do think the fantasy audience should care about this, because this is probably a model you're going to see like tested again and again and again until it becomes the way you do fantasy. But the concept, it's NFT based. And so the point of doing that is that you can clearly have ownership of an asset. In this case, the asset is a player. And so in Reignmakers, they make available these player cards for all the players that would participate in a sport. So they started with NFL, and it gets into all these nuances of like various tiers of rarity for a player. So like, there might be 4 Reignmaker John Rahm cards, but you might have 50 poor John Rahm cards. So they just kind of get more rare the levels you go up, and the higher levels can play for more money. That's the general premise. Like if you want to play for the big $1 million purses every week, you got to go and get the assets of that highest level, and there are just fewer of them. Drives demand, drives resale price and all that. So the idea is you go and collect these cards, and then you assemble your lineup week to week and participate in a fantasy contest like we do all these weeks, but with no entry fee. So if I have a lineup of the lowest level, the core level players, I can go put 5 of my players together and put that into play. Well, they're starting next week for the Players Championship, and that might be a $60,000 GPP, and so first place is going to get a $6,000 cut. What's cool about it from a fantasy perspective is, those players are owned by you, and you're the only person that owns those cards. And so if you want to not own those cards, you can sell them back to a secondary market. And at the end of the year, if they figure this out right, somehow those could carry value from season to season. And so in theory, you could essentially rent these players, try to make a bunch of money in fantasy contests, and then sell the cards back to the market at some point during the season. So your investment in the players carries some equity, as well as whatever you can earn playing in the contest. Like it's a really cool way to think about, playing a game like this.
Yeah,
but the strategy of it, of like, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, and like for casual people, the season 1 to season 2 is what's going to be like. If there's no value, right? I'm not going to go drop $150 for the potential to win $200 that's completely wasted next year, right? Like if there was a way, if you're a guy finished 5th in the FedEx Cup, you get X allocation to use towards cards next year or something, right? Like,
yeah,
they need to figure out something.
That's
like
the piece. Otherwise, all of your investment in those cards throughout the season just goes to zero at the end of the year. And I know they're talking about ways to try to bridge it from one season to the next, but then you got so I think what's interesting with golf is, and this is what people talk about, is then you can start to go look at the secondary market and try to buy low on players you think are going to pop or think are going to have relevance. Maybe like, for example, JT Poston I can buy low on JT Poston right now because he's playing terrible, but I know by the time the John Deere comes around, he's going to be awesome. So I'm going to try to watch him in the secondary market and go scoop up guys like that I know I could play all of them at the end of July.
Yep.
And that's not what we think about in normal fantasy. It's you get access to every player in the field. Yeah.
Whole different ball game. For sure.
So I would I'll tell listeners is if you're listening to this on Wednesday, March 1st, you can go buy they have these like advanced passes. I'd probably forget about that for casual players, right? Yeah. I'd forget about that. Yeah.
Yes. Another confusing
gives you like yeah. But I will say so. But March 6th is the first pack drop. So if you are interested in playing, I think most DraftKings players will probably get a free pack at the core level, and then you can go buy up. There's like 5 levels core and above, and you can go buy up packs. And I don't know what they cost. It's probably somewhere between like 20 and
$20. Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably like $20 and up. And then obviously once those packs get opened and the cards get put back on the marketplace, you could go buy individual players. It's going to start with the Players Championship. I think it could be kind of fun, and I'm probably going to dabble a little bit, but like you can't. The guys with the real deep pockets are setting like $2,000 budgets to play at the top, and that's more than I'd like to commit to that.
Yes, agreed. Well, I don't know if you saw the Discord today. People were posting like Rich Beam cards and things like that. That they think are going to be in the packs. And like, if that's true, like Rich Beam hasn't played on tour other than in, the PGA Championship he plays every year because he won it. And, he's played in like 3 other events in 10 years. Why would you what idiot at DraftKings decided Rich Beam should be in there, right? Like put in younger guys that might make it versus old farts that are never going to play again.
It's a way they can sell these packs and fill them up with crap and then just drive more activity on the secondary market. Like at the end of the day, they're getting cuts from all the activity that happens in the marketplace. And so it's to their advantage to drive more traffic there. So I probably will check it out. Like
I'm going to do my shout out here for the Golf Goons, which is a much more easy to understand and, right, like there you just buy the NFT. They made certain variations for season 1. The season 1s will always have the same value, and now season 2 people, you can still buy a John Rahm. I know a John Rahm actually. Season 2, right? It's worth less because you don't get the benefits of the season 1, but that way, right? The people that get in right away will always have that value, and it'll always have the worth, right? So there's my shout out to the Golf Goons. I know a few of them listen every week now, but it's a pretty cool concept that they have.
And so like last point, like you got that is a little more grassroots. It's someone that launched an NFT project and is trying to do fantasy golf through NFTs. Then you got DraftKings doing it on the other end of the spectrum on a gigantic platform. So like there's something there, and I don't know where it ends up right now. It's probably too confusing on both ends, but I think that kind of stuff, you're going to see it more. And whether you realize it's NFTs or not, like this is just kind of how some of these models are starting to ship. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's like the DraftKings one isn't really normal NFTs, right? They're saying it is because
that's what it is underneath. It's
because it's cool. But it's really just
no, they should not say NFTs, and it would probably be a lot cooler, to be honest.
It's like, did you ever play those baseball games growing up where you had you use real cards and like the stats on the back, and there was like
but that's exactly what this is.
That's what this is. I used to play that. It was the same thing, but without money involved.
Now we know how you ended up. How you ended up here. It's always been inside. All right, I'm gonna do a real fast Honda Classic recap. Not even much on the storylines. If you watched it, like we talked about at the beginning, like it was a pretty cool finish. I don't think anyone's really interested in Chris Kirk versus Eric Cole at the start of the day, but it's always nice to see drama, and that golf course can produce it. But obviously, like even down to the end, like Eric Cole, like 180 lip out to to keep the
dude. All he had to do was get up and down.
I know that was
in regulation,
it was nerves.
And it was the same nerves that screwed him on the playoff too, right? He hit that 3-wood that 20 yards long.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I mean, I've done that too, it being in invitationals and things like that, where you've got 50 carts lined up. My adrenaline gets going for that. Think about this. First time, potential to win.
Oh, I know.
Hitting a brick out there and just launches it. But yeah.
Well, it had my attention. It was probably honestly the most golf I watched down the stretch in the last couple of weeks, and that includes a couple of big events. But on the listener league side, we had JY Sodi getting the win. And I'm okay calling JY Sodi's name because he hasn't been doing that much winning lately, but he dominated the listener league last year, and there he is on top again. Arano M2 in second, and JY ATD in third. I finished in last. I can own that. I finished in last. I'm not going to throw. I thought I tailed somebody's model out there in the Twitter sphere. I'm not going to throw them under the bus. But I straight up tailed it, and I finished in last. So that's what we'll say about that. Had a couple of landmines. I think we're seeing some improvement in some of our metrics. Had a couple of rough weeks, but there's some really good stuff. First of all, our power index has been killing it. So if you follow our recommended plays each week, the top of the power index has been performing well above average the last handful of weeks. So tons of good ways to start your lineup if you're looking at that. The gutsiest play of the week, I always like to throw this out. We said it on Twitter. Len Hochberg from RotoWire always has good gutsy plays. He had Kramer Hickok, only expert to mention Kramer Hickok. Mike McClure, another expert that we follow, has been very good for us this year. Ben Griffin and Will Gordon, his two core plays. Those guys were solid, not the best, but solid places to start. And then Kuchar and Buckley. Kuchar specifically, like super well loved in the model. Really couldn't have played worse.
Yeah, he hurt for sure.
And that's not a guy I really like to play. Like sometimes you ask who's like one guy you just hate to like throw in your lineup. Like I don't like playing Kuchar ever. Like I'm not interested, but like at a good price, that highly ranked across our experts, he just totally flamed out. Buckley, I'll give the pass to, but Kuchar, that really hurt. Last comment, Jordan, one and done. Anything happen of interest?
We had one person who's a longtime listener, G Bentley, picked Chris Kirk, which was a pretty ballsy pick, but ended up with $1.5 million. Then we had a bunch of Shane Lowry and Sepp Straka picks, who they tied for fifth, for a measly $300,000. And a couple schmucks at the bottom picked Kuchar and McCarthy and ended up with $0 because they missed the cut. But no, it's starting to get interesting. We've got seven? How many tournaments do we have now? 7, 8, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, but we've got there's some big money out there. The leader's at 5.6 million, 1.5 clear of anyone else. So,
the next two events are elevated.
Will be right. Key.
The players, as a reminder, the players should have the largest purse of the year. So, getting a winner that week can really make a difference for the standings.
Do we know? Did the Masters up there?
So, what I hear is generally they release their purses like the week before, and so I don't know. The speculation is that those purses will be in like the $15 to $20 million, probably less than 20, and players is 25, I think, and these other elevated events has been 20. So
just because I saw on the Netflix documentary that the Scheffler got, I think, 2.7 last year for the Masters, which is now, $1 million less than Rahm got for that, even than Scheffler got for the Waste Management Open.
Yeah, I bet it will be similar. I bet it'll be similar.
And it's still the Masters, so you'd rather have the title than the money.
Well, right. Yes. Yes. a lifetime pass to Augusta. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Before we talk about the Arnold Palmer, do you have a beer? You had a glass. You had something that looked yellow and juicy.
In honor of Kyle, I'm drinking a lactose double IPA. Drekker, Thor is my co-pilot. It's very good. I can never taste the lactose or taste the difference. Like, I wish they made one with lactose and one without and sold it as a 4-pack, like 2 of each. Because I don't like it.
Yeah, that milk sugar doesn't doesn't really have a difference. The only time I really think it makes a difference is if they just add vanilla to it, and then I feel like I'm drinking something that's like creamier, I guess. But no, I don't know the difference. I actually I'm a little like this is from Off Color Brewing in Chicago. This is I'm sure you're familiar with Apex Predator.
Yeah,
it's
Apex,
a farmhouse. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like sometimes I just need to change a pace. This is only, I guess this one is 6.5%, but it's just not hoppy. It's not hoppy, and so it's just nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do something a little different.
Mine's 8%.
There you go.
Watch out for the Drekkers.
All right, Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill in Orlando, Florida, or I think it's technically in like the Bay Hill Enclave in Orlando. There's like a little like Vatican style section like carved off in its own city. But we get back to an elevated event, and I think what's really interesting about this event is that given that it's elevated now, you're pulling a lot of players to this event that just haven't played it a bunch. And so this is typically an event that like guys like, Rory have played a ton of, but like Rahm hasn't played it a bunch. And Scheffler's obviously younger. He hasn't been there a bunch. So like you have guys with some really long history because they always picked up this invitation to go. But then you have a lot of guys that are good players that haven't spent a lot of time here. And the reputation for this course obviously is that it is hard. It is often windy, and it requires someone to be in pretty good control of their golf ball and have a few different shots. And so a strong approach player, someone that can flight it, someone that can bring it in high, work it both directions, is going to really benefit. I heard on Rick Gaiman's podcast that there's some correlation here to club head speed. And obviously, like, you'd think that would be in his hypothesis is like, oh, you'd think that would be length, which helps. But the rough can get pretty thick. And so guys that have higher club head speeds with their irons can get the ball out or get it out with shorter clubs. And so I don't know. Who knows? Just said there's correlation to guys with higher club.
Really seems like people are just making shit up these days.
Well, it's I won't get into the other. I did have a Twitter exchange with him earlier today. And he almost did make it seem like he's making up some of his stuff. Not in a bad way, but I was kind of like, I wasn't trying to call him out. I was just kind of like, hey, you talked about how like Colin really struggles in the wind. Like it's going to be windy this week, yet he's one of your guys. And he's like, I still like him.
Yeah, I need more data. I need more data.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyways, well, I don't know, Jordan, do you have the model up? Do you want to give the rundown of the top of it? You want me to do it?
Sure, I can do it.
All right.
Top of the model here. We've got, what are we, 8-ish, 10-ish that are above 30%, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
No one's yet above 50% mention share. Rory's leading the pack with 9 mentions and $10,600. And then we got Tyrrell Hatton. Has he played in the States?
But he's won this tournament.
Oh, that I did not know.
There's a couple years ago. Yeah, this one other take is that there's a ton of course history correlation here, and so it's like the guys that play well here play well, and the guys that play poorly here play poorly. And so if you were to look at some of the history, especially McIlroy, Hatton, Jason Day, those guys are all past winners. And so you're going to see a lot of that come through here. Gary Woodland. Yep.
Interesting. Okay. This is why I don't normally give this part of the speech, because I don't know any of those things. Thanks, Kyle. Fuck you. I hope they lose tonight because of you being there. It's in a shootout, Mike, right now, if you didn't know.
I have no idea what's going on.
Anyway,
but now I think the listeners know where Kyle went.
Yeah. Cheering on the Wild. So next up, we've got a few guys at 3 mentions, Rahm, Kirk, and Day. It's interesting with Chris Kirk. Like, I'm probably going to avoid Chris Kirk at all this week. He's just one of those, right? Like, if he wouldn't have won last week, would he have this many mentions? Probably not.
Absolutely not.
And I'm assuming it's a very different course, much harder course, much stiffer competition.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's not going to be able to win by choking on 18 and hitting it into the water. So there's my hot take. I'm going to avoid Chris Kirk.
$7,700 though, like, it's nice. It's nice relief, and you get 36% right now and 46 on the power index. I don't know. I'm interested in Kirk, but you don't have to be. I'm interested.
Not bad. I see he's in tier 5. I'd probably take him in tiers, but then again, so will probably everyone else, which then he's not a great play. But yeah, so rounding out the next couple here, we got Morikawa, Schauffele, Homa, and Zalatoris all have 6 mentions and they're above 30%. So a lot of big names at the top of the board.
Yeah, and it's obviously elevated event. You get some soft pricing. So guys like Morikawa, Schauffele, Homa, Zalatoris, all in the mid 9Ks. And so you suddenly realize, like, you can make some pretty powerful lineups with just playing in the 9Ks. That's what I did that's what I was headed at Phoenix. And then what happens, your 10K players like Scheffler and Rahm, start running away with it. So I feel like that has the chance to happen here too. Rory, Rahm, Scheffler, all those guys playing pretty good golf right now. But I guess if I had to start with some plays, I like Max Homa this week. He's getting he's ranked high in our power index, 88 at the moment. Decent amount of love. We said 30%. Just a guy, like, he's just been unflappable. He's been in the mix. Our top expert, Mike McClure, is on him this week. And so I think there's a lot of reasons to go after Max. The other one I'll mention that is currently sitting at the top of our power index is Tom Kim. And Tom Kim certainly has lost a little bit of his luster the last handful of weeks, but at $8,400 feels like a real great price break on a guy that 100% can win the golf tournament in this field.
Yeah. Yep. Has he played here before? Did he play here last year?
I doubt it. I mean, he was a rookie.
Yeah.
Or still is a,
Yep. That is
who else do you like there that's sticking out to you?
Yeah, so I was sticking in that 8 to 9K range as well, right? Like, you can get Hatton, Day, and Keith Mitchell. Right now has 5 mentions, 26%. I don't know what, like, I like him. After the Pro-Am where he was bitching about Aaron Rodgers and watching him play a little bit more, like, he seems like one of those, like, solid, not great golfers, right? Yep. He's gonna make the cut, right? And that's what I want.
His last 4 outings: T22, T4, T42, and 5th, and gaining about 2 strokes around on the field. Like, he's just been hitting the ball lights out. Off the tee especially, which is what the premier part of his game is, just been killing it off the tee and on approach as well. So yeah, I like that.
And at $8,000, I'll have quite a bit of him this week. But yeah, you can do it pretty good. So there, I gave you my first 3 picks, and then my listener league will be Homa, Woodland, and Fleetwood, all getting lots of love in the model. All now that I know that it's course horse for the course. I followed it, Mike. I'm going
that. So you're off the 10K players. You're thinking you can get some value out of the 9Ks and the 8Ks. I agree with you. That's what makes these elevated events so hard.
I do that a lot though, because it's just, if you do a 10K, yes, you might get the win, but then you need Charlie Hoffman to make the cut, which is at best a 50-50 chance. I would rather take two guys that have an 80% chance of making the cut than one that's 90 and one that's 30.
I can tell you that Charlie Hoffman is not going to make the cut this week. And I can tell you that because one of our experts, and like I say this a lot, we're not trying to throw anybody under the bus here. But one of our experts does a sleepers column, which is the value pick sleepers column, whatever. But he really stands out because his 4 sleeper picks or 5 sleeper picks every week have missed the cut 64% of the time this year. That's not very good. Like, that's actually crazy high among all the experts we track. Generally, the miscut range is somewhere between 20 and 35%. So the guys that are sub 20 are like sets of really high floors, but 65% on the year. And so usually my first look is, okay, who is this guy? Who is this guy mentioning this week? And this week it's Keegan Bradley, Charlie Hoffman, Luke List, and Taylor Pendrith. So I can tell you that I'm not going to be on any 4 of those guys. If you do need some salary relief, you got Ben Griffin at $6,700. Ben's been playing a ton of golf lately, and he's been playing reasonably well. Just had a decent week this week at the Honda. So, but he did miss a cut at the Pebble Beach, but he had T21 at the Honda, T31, T32, T12, T29. And really going all the way back to the Fortinet was the last time he missed a cut before that. So 6,700, Ben Griffin.
And isn't he a Florida guy? Isn't there's a stadium named after him there, right?
I think you're thinking of Lane Kiffin.
No, the University of Florida's football stadium is Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
Okay, all right. Well, that must be his grandpa.
That'll be a name game. That'll be a name game in the future.
Well, I want to get to that. So let me just hit on tiers really quick. Again, I think we're going to go look at tier 2 this week because it's a complete mess at the moment. You got just all those mid 9K players, all the guys that you're going to stack in your lineup, Jordan. You got Morikawa, Schauffele, Homa, Zalatoris, the 4 guys in our model right now in tier 2, all at 31% mention share. So if I'm looking at a tiebreaker right now on Tuesday night, power index 88 for Homa is probably where I would go in tier 2, but I could certainly make a case for any of those guys other than maybe Morikawa because it's going to be windy, and apparently I'm not supposed to play Morikawa in the wind.
Yep. The hardest for me will be tier 4 because it is Hatton, Day, and Mitchell, my first 3 picks for non-tiers.
I think Jason Day is going to be super chalky. I actually really like your Keith Mitchell play there. He's been playing some great golf, and so that's maybe my lean in tier 4.
But, the other crazy, that's tier 4 is crazy because it's also got Matt Fitzpatrick and Hideki, which Hideki hasn't been great, and neither has Fitzpatrick, but like pretty solid golfers.
Oh, I misread this, and then Tom Kim as well.
Oh, he's in.
Yeah, I was misreading that. Tom Kim. Okay, well, so I liked Keith Mitchell, but then I also had Tom Kim as my play. So I guess I got some work to do.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Now we get to do name game as we wrap this up. So last week it was Jordan. You kind of had to be there. Kyle had the Twins game, and so he was trying to rattle off some famous twins, and we got these. Really, Parker and Pearson Cootie were the twins we cared about. Then we got some other sort of like weird twin pairings, but it worked out because my Scarlett and Hunter Johansson twins pairing of Zach Johnson and Jason Bramlett cruised. Yeah, I don't know. Kyle
Jason Bramlett
or Joseph Bramlett. Sorry, it's written here as Jason Bramlett, but it's Joseph Bramlett.
Okay, so Johansson and Joseph.
I guess the gears were turning, but we got to it, and I got the win, and so that bumps me up to 4 wins on the season since we've been doing this. I think this is going back to mid last summer, so you're still well out in front of me, but I'm trying to catch the listeners. So Kyle gave me a tip on the game this week.
Oh, yes,
and I don't know that I did a great job. If I would have spent like 3 hours on this, I think it would have been awesome. But since we're at Bay Hill, pose the question of what would a Michael Bay movie be like if he was covering the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And so this started out really well. So tell me if you know these characters. Mike Lowry.
Mike Lowry. Is that from? I do not know who that is.
That is Will Smith's character in Bad Boys.
Oh, I didn't.
We got
that. I was thinking. I just associate Michael Bay with Transformers.
Well, we'll get to. Well, actually,
but I even said Mike Lowry, right? That's how. Who's the other guy?
Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence. Mike Lowry.
Yeah, yep. Okay. So we got Mike Lowry. We got Harry Stamper. Harry Stamper is Bruce Willis in Armageddon.
Oh.
We got Kevin O'Donnell, who is played by Adam Garcia in Coyote Ugly. Which I don't know why this came up. Michael Bay must have been. That is not a Michael Bay movie. What I really screwed this up. Well, there we go. We're keeping that in here.
Wait, hold on. Michael Bay didn't do Coyote.
I thought that was weird, but my research was awful here because it came up in his filmography.
I'll double check. I wonder if keep going. Maybe he did.
I wonder if he started. No, he did. He did. I can see it that he didn't do it. And then here, before I even say this now, did I screw this one up too? I'm not even like, I've already done the work. So, nope, he didn't direct this movie either. Why did he get film credits for Mystery Men? Whatever, here we go. We're just going to roll with it. Mike Lowry, you can take Shane Lowry at 7,900. Sepp Straka, or Harry Stamper, 7,000. Joel Damon, Kevin O'Donnell, 6,800. Or Ricky Fowler, a.k.a. Mr. Furious, at 7,700. Just roll with me. Just roll with me. I did this on the fly.
Okay. Wait, so you get in the middle, in the third one, you get 2 golfers, but you just get the better score of the 2 of them, or do you get the combined score?
No. These are just one. This is just one golfer. All guys between $6,800 and $7,900. Just take the better score.
Oh, just take the top score. I thought you said 2 golfer names for the third movie. Anyway.
No.
Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka.
Joel Damon, Ricky Fowler.
Okay. Who picks first?
I'll let you pick first since I'll let you pick first since you're here, and then I'll let you pick for Kyle.
No, Kyle gets left.
Okay, all right.
He's not here. He's got to see the Wild win in a shootout.
All right, so you pick, then pick for the listeners, then I'll pick, then Kyle picks. Lowry, Straka, Damon, Fowler.
Lowry, Straka, Damon, Fowler. I was just putting together a lineup while we were on the call here, and I put Ricky Fowler in it. I'll do Ricky.
Okay, all right.
Sure.
Guys, I'm playing well. Who do you want to give to the listeners?
Should we give fan favorite Joel Damon, or the only name game of yours that made any sense, Shane Lowry? What's your choice? Which one?
Because why don't we give him Straka?
We can give him Straka.
All right, I think they should get Straka.
Okay, they're gonna win now. You realize that you just lost.
I know, but it's because I wanted to give because I'm gonna take Lowry, the one that actually worked, and then Kyle's gonna get Joel Damon.
I got a guy from so he gets the guy from Coyote Ugly.
He gets the guy from Coyote Ugly that Michael Bay definitely directed. Didn't you hear the sound effects in all the explosions and everything in Coyote Ugly?
Yeah, what?
I don't even like. Let's not even unpack this. I went to IMDb.
I'm confused even though so the guy's name was Kevin O'Donnell and Adam Garcia. Where does Joel Dahmen come from that?
I just picked a D name that sounded like O'Donnell, Damon. I don't, just if I would have spent a lot of time on this, I would have picked people that looked like actors in these movies, but like spent about 5 minutes on it. And you also got to get guys in the right salary range. Look,
Michael Bay had a brief cameo in Coyote Ugly.
There we go. Well, I'm glad that we got through. I'm glad we got through Michael Bay's filmography because you're right. Like, there's a really classic South Park episode where they're making fun of Michael Bay movies and all the crashing and explosions and all that. And so you're right. It's Transformers. All right. Anything else? I got no betting preview because you and I are not the betting experts here. So anything else on your mind before we wrap it up?
No, this was fun. Hopefully, maybe should we go crazy and go in person next week?
That would be crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's the players. It's the biggest field.
It might happen.
We might need to.
Do the Wild play next Tuesday? Is there a risk of one of the hosts not being able to make it?
I don't think so. I mean, it'll be my second day at my new job.
Okay. You might be working late.
I doubt that. They do play next Tuesday, March 7th, at home. You never know. You're right.
All right. We'll find out. That'll be a surprise for the listeners. When we do our Players Championship in a week, you'll find out. Is it going to be live or is it going to be on the Zooms here? So there you go. Follow our content on our YouTube channel every Wednesday morning. Of course, on Twitter at RTG Podcast DFS and every major podcast platform. We'll be back in a week to talk about the results of the Arnold Palmer Invitational and preview the Players Championship. See ya.